Okay, great.
All right.
That's great. Awesome.
We'll just go with a fun show. Here we go.
Yeah, let's go with it. Fine. Yeah, I'm still obsessed with retarded.
This is Total Babble. Total Babble. It's a show about music, pop culture, social media, movies, the internet, relationships, TV, whatever. Total Babble. The Total Babble Podcast.
Well, okay, so you know how we talked about it on the show.
Yeah.
And then one night I was just sitting in bed going, do you remember the original version of that song by the Black Eyed Peas? It wasn't Let's Get It Started. It was Let's Get Retarded.
Which is a way of going like, wow, we're going to get totally wasted and screw around and dance like idiots.
1,000%.
Then it was okay. But then they had to change it too.
Well, then they had to change it.
Yeah.
Did it impact on the song?
No, because I think probably most people didn't hear the original, so they didn't know. And either way, it's just a dumb pop song. That's my judgment, but that's the way I go with it. And that was around the time that things were starting to get politically correct. And I think in some cases, the politically correct is okay, but then we can have the same conversation that we did last week, and we don't need to. But you're right. That's a good point. All right. Stu, Emily, show happening now. Welcome to it. Hi, how are you? You seem moderately awake and with it today.
Oh, great. What a rousing endorsement. I'm going to put that on my resume.
Many times you are tired. You still do a great show, but you're tired. We'll come on and I'll go, how are you? And you go, here we go. And you're like, hi, everybody. I'm making caca sounds and shit. Here we go.
Well, yes, let's not let my personal problems get in the way of a fantastic show.
That's what I try to do.
I am a little bit sleepy beepy, but I'm okay.
Yeah, I have it too. One of these days, I think maybe next show, no matter what, I'm not going to take Ambien. I'm not going to take it, and I say it every week, and I have a habit. I'm a drug addict. I take Ambien once a week the night before a show, but I'm going to stop doing it because it makes me groggy and headachy the next day. Next week is the week. You'll hear it. It's an experiment. Now that I've said it on the show, I have to do it. So here we go. Strap in, everybody.
I'm so excited for you because the mind boggles as to why the fuck you haven't done this before.
I try.
It's from Stu's Big Book of Bad Choices, page 514.
Ambien is a good drug if you're not worried about headaches and grogginess a little bit. And the one thing that I don't want to be headachy and groggy for is this. You can tell I've had the Ambien, and it's this. So you take it to help you get the sleep that you need for this, but then it leaves you groggy and headachy. So I'm committed next week that I'm just going to, if I get 2 hours of sleep, that's all I'm going to get. And it really is not even stress. It's just about the stress of now I need to get to sleep, and that's in my head.
Who has a job where they're okay being headachy and groggy?
I do. I could function in my normal entertainment day job, headachy and groggy, and be okay with it. I've done it long enough, and I can do it in my sleep, and I have numerous times. So,
I guess rock stars.
Yeah,
you can.
That's how they go through life. They're wasted half their life.
Yeah, it's true. I remember when I used to party when I was young and fun, and I think back and go, there is no way in my advanced age that I could possibly function like I did back then.
I think back on my all-nighters, and there's, no way I could do that now. I would probably fall dead just where I stood at about 7 a.m. I would just be like, I can't do it anymore, and then just end my own life. My brain would shut me down. It would say, we can't do this. That's what would happen. All right. So I'm just, like I said, going through life, and I had a couple instances this week, and I'm not going to go into the details, but I just have a couple examples of what I'm talking about, and then I wanted to get your opinion on this question. Is everything just really so super fucked as we go through life, or is it just me? We have homeowners insurance here, and the other day there was an inclination by somebody at AAA that my stuff is not covered if there was a fire or earthquake, and I have broadcasting equipment and lots of stuff. And it's been this way since 2021, and that's distressing. So I also have old people. Saturday morning, we get up and we go to AAA, and the guy says, no, you're not covered. And then we go through this thing. They said, okay, we need to get me on the policy. And he says, no, we can't put you on the policy if your name's not on the deed. Well, nobody mentioned that. Nobody got into anything like this. And this is about 6 or 7 conversations later in the times that I've talked to AAA. Then Eric and Joe is who we're dealing with. Joe jumps in and goes, oh no, he's covered. Here, this in the language of the document, here and here and here. Everything's fine. So we wasted 6 phone calls and all of that time for absolutely nothing because people didn't have their shit together. Part 2 of my week, just as far as things that I deal with day to day go. Riverside FM, this thing that we use to record the show, I wanted to try this new AI process that would make my editing a little bit better. I had a 2-part question. They first off just ignored part 2 of my question in the emails. Then they told me the completely wrong thing. They told me I didn't have access to a toggle switch because I didn't have their pro tier that they're now upgrading everybody to get more money out of people because they're money grubbing. And I thought, oh, that's cool. And I said to them, oh, you're trying to upsell everybody to your paywall so you can squeeze every last dime out of everybody. Then when I got pissed, they said, oh, no, this is an audio only issue because you are not publishing video. It's an audio only issue. Again, sucks. Then I got an email from their team lead that said, oh no, it's none of those things. This is a bug that we're going to fix. And as is routine, after they do an update, something is effed up and I go through multiple emails. There were 8 emails and 3 different answers that they gave me. So this is a brief synopsis of things I've been dealing with this week. And I'm just wondering, I know I get uppity and upset. Are these just general things that other people have happened to? As you go through life, do you just assume that all of these kind of things are just going to completely suck? Because it doesn't seem like they used to suck, but it seems like they do now.
Many questions
Yeah.
there. Does it happen to other people? Yes.
Is it constant like it seems to be?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. And obviously I have an N of 1 because I am but one individual. But stuff like this happens to me all the time. For example, I purchased some clothing for my children from Old Navy. As I was trying to return it, it has this new process where it's like, do you want to exchange the item? And I said, yes, I'd like to get a smaller size. And then I take everything to return some items and exchange the items. And I drive 30 minutes from my house to go to Old Navy. And then I get there and the people can't deal with these 2 items because it's a new process that they haven't been trained on. You have to mail it in, do all of this different stuff. And it's not their fault. It's a new process. You know, okay, whatever,
It's
no
the
worries.
company's fault that they represent the company.
Sure. But, you know, is it a big deal to me? Not really. Is it a pain in the ass? Yeah, sure. But am I going to hold up the line and cry about it? No. I'm going to go and figure it out when I get home and I'll just send it in and they'll send me another thing. I'm like, all right, no worries. But that sort of stuff happens constantly. To everyone, I think.
See, but I think as I get involved in these things that it's kind of my responsibility not to be mean to individual people, but to make it very difficult for them because I feel like if I make it very difficult, it's going to get remembered and maybe the next time they won't F people around as bad as they did this time. I feel like if you act like it's no big deal, then they'll just move on and it's people just taking it the way people are always forced to take it, you know?
I mean, I understand why you think that way.
Yeah.
But then think about the average retention rates for customer service jobs. Think about how long people stay in those jobs for.
It's a shit job.
That information's not going anywhere.
It's a shit job, but that's not my problem. And if enough people made it really difficult, then the companies would do the right thing is the way I feel often.
How's that working out for you?
I get free stuff out of it sometimes. It's not my goal. My goal is to improve the world because I'm a superhero. But, you know.
But you've been dealing with this shit with Riverside for years.
Yeah.
It's never improved. In fact, some could say it's gotten worse.
Well, they have all their new features that they're selling to everybody that can't really do a podcast but has a podcast. So they're just going to make it so that everybody can edit a podcast just by taking out words and have it sound terrible.
I also think that one's experience is often impacted by one's orientation.
Are you saying I'm gay?
No.
Okay, I thought you were saying I was gay.
No.
Orientation.
But I do think that your lens and view of the world is perhaps not rose-tinted, right? I think that you approach things expecting them to be shit and ready to fight about it, whereas lots of other people may not. And I'll use myself as an example. But I took the stew way this week.
Yeah.
I've been living in Stewdom this week. And just as an experiment. And I've realized that my general disposition and looking for problems has made me very sour. And
is it looking for problems or expecting the
Yes.
problems, or is that the same thing or a different thing?
it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Okay.
Here's my example. And you tell me what you think. Because I was thinking about this deeply and I was like, why am I so fucking mad about this? And I'm like, because I've chosen to get mad about it and I'm looking for problems now. So my kid is on this cross-country team and I was like, okay, this is fine, whatever. Then I met the head coach of the cross-country team and I was like, this person seems to be the most useless sack of shit I've ever fucking met. Okay? And I went to a cross-country meet. I was very mad about how disorganized it was. The boys are on the starting line. There was nobody there stretching them out or telling them when the gun was going to go off. Many of them never run cross-country before, asking me questions that I didn't know the answer to. And I go back to get the cross-country coach, who, by the way, is fat as fuck, okay? Never run cross-country in their life, and is sitting there eating the kids' snacks. The snacks that are reserved for the kids for after they finish running 2 miles in 90-degree heat and 80% humidity.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. It took so much energy for me to be polite in my inquiry. Anyway, I left that meet and I was so mad because they were disorganized, didn't take care of the kids, didn't fulfill upon what I expected. And my son's run cross-country for a number of clubs, a bunch of different schools. So and I used to run cross-country. It's not like I have unrealistic expectations. Like, they're pretty low, but they fucking failed. Anyway, so then now, this is why I'm mad. Now, I can't help but view everything these motherfuckers do except through the lens of, you are shit. And so now, every email that comes out, I'm annoyed if there's conflicting information. Every time my son comes home from training, I get annoyed when I hear about the utilization of load, fucking distribution of medicine balls and changing their gait and how I think that it's stupid. I get mad about it. And so then, like I said, I've started sending emails.
You're saying you're biased and tainted.
I am biased, tainted, jaded, and annoyed.
Yeah.
And now I'm like finding fault with everything. And so then I was like, oh God, I got to just fucking slow my roll.
But do you think you're finding fault with everything where there isn't fault?
No, but that's the thing. There absolutely is fault there. But I'm choosing to take issue with it. And I had to catch myself and go, okay, what if this was a different team and a different coach for a different son and they were doing these things? Would I let it slide? And I'm like, actually, if I liked the person, I would let it slide and approach it differently. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm biased and jaded and I'm just in a little rage circle. And
but
so,
see, you could also say that the perception of outcome in this is different in that my perception of that outcome where you let stuff go makes it so that you're left living in mediocrity because you just accept things and that's the way it is. And living in mediocrity is not acceptable to me. I think your perception of the way I do things is that I'm left in negativity and that's the way I go through my life and that's not productive either. And I don't know that there's a clear defined answer. I don't know that either one of us is really right, but it seems like that's the definition of those two areas to live in.
I'm not sure. I expect excellence of myself and my children.
Yeah.
I don't expect excellence from other people because people cannot meet my standards.
I expect at least adequate, reasonable goodness from people when I'm dealing with them.
Yeah, my expectations are lower. I also feel like I get really good service just in general, generally speaking.
When
I'm
I
nice
do,
to
I
deal
make it
with.
known that I do, for sure.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. I just feel like this week, I really created a lot of problems for myself, by the way, because I did. And then I invested time in researching things and sending emails and yada, yada, yada. I'm just like, oh, God. But there are things, and on the cross country, I'm like, this is a fucking waste of everyone's time. Do you know why? Because in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to change the outcome.
But what if it
just makes
does?
me
What
mad.
if you being the problem parent, as their perception is, what if that means they're going to think about things and do things a little bit different, even if it's a little small thing that makes things better that you may not even know about, but they think, oh, geez, there's that woman. I better do that different so that she doesn't bitch about this.
I don't know. It depends. I'd have to get clear on what was my desired
Yeah, we're
outcome.
talking hypotheticals.
Yeah. I don't think that they're, for example, I don't think they're going to fire them, and I don't think that they're going to become better coaches. My other son has this horrible teacher who's like publicly shaming the kids and all of those different bits and pieces. Now, I've already complained about that teacher when she was my other son's teacher, and people complain about her all the time and nothing ever changes. So there's nothing we can do about that. So instead of complaining, I'm trying to coach my son around, this is preparing you for real life.
Right.
You just need to figure out how to exist in this world, keep your head down, get your work done.
And there's cases really to do both, because I kind of think if this teacher is bad and nobody ever says anything about it, for sure nothing's ever going to get done. And I could make the case that if enough people complain, there's at least going to be history, and that maybe someday something will change with all that history. I don't know. I feel like you live in great positivity, but then that comes at the expense of you having to live in mediocrity sometimes too.
Maybe.
And again, it's perception. You might be fine with that, and I might think, well, why should I have to compromise this ever? And it's,
Yeah.
I just went through all those two things this week, and I went, wow, does everybody deal with this? Because it seems like everything sucks, and everything really is sucking on a consistent basis lately. Rosie O'Donnell, she is filling in for Jimmy Kimmel this week. I guess the deal is that he takes summer vacation off, and then he has these guest hosts, and I can usually take or leave her. We talked about her on the show. She had this weird video where the UFO people were coming, and we kind of made fun of that. But I got to tell you, she is very good. She's a really good host, very good at this. She's gone after Trump. She's behaved like an actual normal human being, not a coked up chihuahua like all the other guest hosts have behaved like. I have tried watching during the week because I like the show. I think Guillermo's the greatest, and I can't watch some of these guest hosts. But here is a clip where she was talking about her recent experiences, and there's some Donald Trump in there, and got about a minute and a half of this here. It's pretty good.
You know, I've been living in Ireland for the past 2 years because of Mango Mussolini. I read that Project 2025 and said, gotta get myself out of here, you know? And I decided to go to Ireland, a place where people are driven to drink regardless of who's running their country. I decided to move, and I took my little then 11-year-old kid with me, and I just said, whatever you do, don't tell anyone, because we don't want a lot of press and a lot of paparazzi, so please don't tell anyone. And they're a pretty smart kid, you know, they got it. They said, don't worry, I won't, and then went to school and proceeded to tell their entire class. I'm very sorry, I won't be able to graduate 6th grade with you. I'm being forced to move to another country because the President of the United States hates my mother. But in all fairness, I believe my mother hates him more. Hi, I know you're watching.
That's my favorite part right there. Like, hello. She never even actually mentioned him specifically. I just thought that was very well done. And I challenge anybody that listens to this show, watch that first night with Rosie O'Donnell. It's the only one I've seen yet. And then try to watch Any Other Day with Tiffany Haddish. And it's just unreasonable how much difference there is. It's like Tiffany Haddish is grating and fake and phony. And this Rosie O'Donnell, at least she's coming across like a normal, calm human being and really talking like a person talks. And that's all I'm looking for. I get so tired of the hype and all the bullshit in entertainment.
Yeah. Rosie's also got a lot more experience in the big chair. And so I think she's a lot calmer under pressure. She's had her own show for so many years. I think it's different if you're really comfortable in what you're doing versus, oh gosh, I've got to perform.
I think that's a valid argument, but I also then rationalize it that, okay, these other people are in entertainment. They should be better than they are. And she's been away a while. But I get your point. She's been away. I thought maybe she'd be a little bit shaky, and that's her first night back. So I guess she's really good at it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, she's really, really good at it.
I think the producers maybe are the issue. Maybe the producers say, we've got to have a lot of energy and just be over the top because that's what gets clicks and that's what gets us on TikTok. And it's all just so contrived and hyper this and fake laughter. And I just want somebody real. I feel like more and more in our society, we want real people. Or maybe not.
I like real people. I don't know if we're going to get them, though, on late night television. I feel like it's always a little bit campish.
I think the Kimmel audience looks for that, and that's why they come to that show. I feel like he is more that way. Where I think like a Jimmy Fallon isn't, and that's probably why I don't like Jimmy Fallon either.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, she's going to be doing it for a week, right?
Yeah, I'll watch every night, and then he'll come back. And ABC now is suing the FCC, which is great. ABC Disney, good for them, because of everything that's going on with The View and all that. And I talked bad about them when they took Kimmel off, but good for them for fighting for once. And they have to do that because otherwise Trump is just going to keep sicking his FCC toady on them. So... that Brendan Carr is such a fucking toady. I hate just the look of him. He has such a punchable face. I'm not saying anyone should punch him. I'm saying he has a punchable face.
He does have a punchable face.
Fuck you, Brendan Carr. Sad news. Hayden Panettiere died. And I hadn't thought about her in a number of years, but there's lots of horrible Me Too stories with her and substance abuse. And she grew up in the limelight, and she was a child actor, and I thought I would just bring it up to get your thoughts, and I kind of wondered if you think that she was screwed up because she was a child star, or was she just screwed up, and because of that, she got into acting at a young age, and what do you think about her in general?
Position myself as a fan, so right. I never investigated her. I never watched any interviews with her or anything like that.
I just know her from the Hero show and what I've seen in the news recently.
Yeah. And I think when it comes to, the question I think I can answer and have an opinion on it is was she screwed up and that's why she got into acting or vice versa? She was put into acting by her parents. I think she had already been in something like 50 commercials by the time that she was 5. I don't think that she had a choice in that. I think she was pushed in that direction, or her parents facilitated that opportunity for her and then sent it sort of in this direction. And then she got into drugs, and drugs will fuck you up and everyone around you.
Yep. And she had, I guess, terrible postpartum depression when she had her kid. She had to give her kid up. It's just such a really sad story, and that's going to make a great miniseries someday, but that shouldn't be the focus of it. It should be like, okay, maybe what's happening socially here, and maybe we should think about things different. And that's easy to say. I don't think anybody is really going to change anything based on this. But
I wish we understood what drives it and what the pipeline is. And they haven't released her cause of death, but the speculation is that she overdosed or she killed herself.
If it's not that, it seems like it is for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So incredibly tragic. And she was only, was it 36 years old? She's only 36 years old. But her story, the only difference between that and your average Joe is that she was in the public light. There is so many examples of that happening every single day to men and women her age all over the world.
Yeah. I guess it made me think, hey, look at all these screwed up child stars. And that's where I came to the question, are they screwed up because they were child stars, or did they become child stars because they were screwed up? And maybe it varies person to person. I don't know.
I think that a lot of the situations are well documented around child stars who are abused or who are thrust into situations that they're not mature enough to handle. They become victims. They're exposed to drugs and alcohol and all these sorts of things. Friend of the show, Drew Barrymore. I don't know. I love her. I think that she's fantastic, but she's a really great example of that Hollywood to drug user pipeline. And it happened a lot for all of those kids in the 90s, right? And then into the 2000s with Hayden and the like. So I do think that Hollywood fucks people up, especially children. They're not protected enough.
And then you hear about all the horrible Me Too stuff that allegedly happened with them as kids. And with somebody like Corey Feldman, who's just so wacky, you don't know what to believe. I think at least nowadays they are starting to put different things into place to make sure that kids aren't abused. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, that is a very good thing. And I think that this whole concept of a stage mom gets a really bad rap. However, I'll tell you who's not getting abused. It's the kids whose mom is at every single thing, the kid whose mom is going with them to every single party and pulling them out before 10 p.m. and watching them like a hawk and being overprotective. Those kids aren't getting fucked up by sex abuse, drugs, or alcohol.
Advocating for the devil, I agree with you, but there are those that say that is a helicopter parent and is too focused on their kid and doesn't give their kid enough chance to live and grow on their own. What do you think about that?
I think there's context to everything, right? There's a distinct difference between letting your kid go to ride their bike and have an accident, because they're pushing the limits or something on like some little jumps or something, versus letting your 13-year-old go unaccompanied to a Hollywood party where there's going to be drugs and alcohol and sex fiends. And so the context is important.
Right.
But yeah, you can't be all over your kids all the time. How are they going to learn to live and build the skills to be grown-ups?
Yeah. Did you want to go physically abuse that person with the leaf blower that's outside right now?
I can't. They are not in my yard.
Oh, you could. It just would be more uncalled for.
They are actually, it's a ride-on lawnmower that is on a different street.
Wow.
Across from my back fence, which is 8 feet high, and they're over there.
Right.
And
well,
I can't
one
get
day
to them.
We'll get a portable app and you can go over and we can talk to them. That'll be fun. I'm sure you'd be happy to do that.
You've made a bold assumption that person speaks English.
Well, I can talk to them. I'm an honorary Mexican. I've hung around Mexicans so much my entire life. I'm an honorary Mexican and a Tio, so I have provenance within the community. See what I did there?
And you speak Spanish?
I speak provenance.
Okay. Yeah. My Spanish is not great. So I have a little app that I use.
Oh. I wonder if we could connect me to the app. There's a whole technical thing that needs to happen there, and we can go deal with those people. I have paint compressors, and you have people on lawnmowers.
It is an absolute travesty.
Goddamn challenge.
I don't know why they choose this day and time, although we have been doing the show earlier.
Yeah.
And they weren't here during that time, so I don't know why.
Well,
Sorry.
Maybe we go on the 30. Maybe we go like 9:30. Figure it out. Anyway.
I don't think they come at the same time every week either. I think that they just fly by the seat of their pants.
Inexcusable. We're going to have to get them on a schedule.
Like a baby.
Some talks. Yeah,
Put
exactly.
it on a sleep schedule.
Yeah,
this is nap time.
And we'll rub some whiskey on their gums. You
Perfect.
texted me yesterday, Frank Beard of ZZ Top died. That sucks. I like that band. Their old stuff is great. And just wanted to mention that and mention to anybody that likes music that Dingleberries is one of the best and best sounding records ever made. So if you wanted to indulge in some of the ZZ Top, that's a great way to go. That Eliminator record was the one that hit big for them, but Dingleberries is a much better, great record. So,
And I'm not a huge ZZ Top fan, although we have talked about them on the show before. The thing that I find so heartening and remarkable is that he played drums for them for 50 years.
yeah.
And that sort of staying power, I just think about the connection and the relationship. People talk a lot about people's spouses when they go, but think about the depth of loss for a relationship that has spanned more than 50 years, where most of your life's big moments, you were there for one another. It's like losing a husband or a wife. And I don't think that they could replace him.
Well, and the other
the
point
end.
that speaks to your point is that all those 50 years, maybe 50 plus years of being together, they never switched out any band members. And they were always together and doing what they did. And that says a lot because, just being around any other person, let alone somebody in a band where you're going to have challenges and things that piss you off, just being around a person is tough enough. So
Yeah, exactly. And so I have a lot of respect for that.
when I met Billy Gibbons that one time, he seemed like a very chill, low-key guy, so that must be how they all were, except in the private life. Their backstage antics are unbelievable. You talk about all the goddamn groupie sluts and wild things going on, and people don't think about ZZ Top. There's a guy named Beau Phillips that was a program director that wrote a book called I Killed Pink Floyd's Pig that is all these secret stories of all these great bands. And there's a lot going on with ZZ Top over the years. If you want to give that a read or a listen because it's on audiobook, that's a great way to go.
I don't know why, but I could see it. I think about someone like that. I think, who else would I think? Definitely Kiss, obviously.
Yeah.
ZZ Top, Rolling Stones. You know who's not giving those vibes? Beatles.
Yeah, the Beatles, I think part of it is just the time they came up, and even just looking at marijuana was such a weird thing when they were getting popular. And I'm okay with the Beatles. I still kind of think they were overrated. I know they had an impact on the industry, but I don't think they were the be-all, end-all. I kind of think we would have gotten to where we are now without the Beatles, and that's something that will make other people just aghast. Oh my God, how could you say that?
I wonder who... I think they really pioneered pop music. I know that they're technically a rock band, but I think that they really pioneered that whole hullabaloo. Them and Elvis.
Yeah, and they did revolutionize some things, and they kind of created the concept record, and they had a lot of talent. I'm not a Beatles guy. Led Zeppelin, I'm with you. Stones, I'm kind of with you. It's, better way to go.
We were driving to this cross-country meet where I got mad, okay? But on the way, I was happy. And the little one out of the back goes, quick question, what is it with the Beatles and walruses?
I am the walrus.
And then he started singing that song. I was like, bro, lots of drugs, I'm pretty sure. And he goes, yeah, that makes sense.
Well, son, Paul is dead. That guy you see, he's actually dead. He died in the 60s in a car crash, and they've been telling everybody that this new guy is Paul. That was the big rumor they had for the longest time. Your eyes are bugging out like you've never heard this. Yeah.
I've never heard that.
This was a big thing in the 60s, 70s, was that Paul died in a car crash, and they had an imposter Paul, and he was the new guy in the band because they didn't want to end the band. Yeah, that was a big thing for a long time.
Wow.
And there's references within the music on it too. They kind of got wind that it was a thing, so they kind of played into it a little bit more. That's how I would judge it anyway. Yeah. So yeah, Paul is dead. Now you know Paul's dead.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Has anyone told him? Although I've seen him recently, he does look a little bit dead.
Yeah. I feel bad talking shit about that guy because he is talented, but based on latest performances, it's time to hang it up and just say that you were a legend and you did great things, great songwriting, but move on. That's what I'll do.
Yeah.
When people are saying I'm a legend, I'll say, okay, time to move on.
Hang up the boots. Time to move on?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I watched that movie that you told me to watch, that Lug Nuts or whatever it is. Donuts, nuts, bolts, something, long bolts. Superhero one, the Avengers one, Thunder Nuts.
Oh my God.
What?
Yeah, Thunderbolts.
That's what it is.
Fucking hell.
Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
I liked it. That was pretty fun. It was a little bit My Little Pony for me in a couple places.
Yeah.
Like, oh, friendship wins. And that seemed a little bit overt, but still it was good. And I came to a question with me, and this must be an overall thing because I really don't know it. It can't just be me. Why do I love Florence Pugh so much?
Great. She's great.
She's so likable and
great.
She's cute, but it's not like Florence Pugh. And there's just something so likable about her. And I've seen her in nothing else, but I'm just like, she's the greatest, most wonderful person ever. I would watch anything she's in, and I've seen nothing else that she's in. Are there any roles she's in where she's like a real asshole? Maybe that would be an adjustment for me.
Gosh, I'd have to go to her IMDb page.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with a lot of her work, but she is incredibly likable. She's just regular, down-to-earth person. Also, she did her own stunts in that movie.
Oh,
There's
wow.
a big one where she's like standing on the top of the building and like
Yeah.
jumps off with a backpack. Yeah, she did her own stunts.
Wow.
Now
Well,
she's even cooler.
I guess the kids would say she's got the Rizz. Florence Pugh, she's got the Rizz, yo. I hate slang, but I'm giving into it now just for purposes of the bit. She's got the Rizz, and I'm being dead ass with this.
She's, dead ass,
Yeah.
1,000 aura.
No, I'm being dead ass. Dead ass is when you're being serious. Are you dead ass? I'm dead ass. This is a thing I've picked up from the stupid kids that I hate their slang. She's got the Rizz, and I'm dead ass.
I don't know if we say I'm dead ass.
I think you do.
But dead ass is correct.
Because I heard some kid say to another kid, "Are you being dead ass?" And that kid said yes.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm dead ass.
But you don't say I'm dead ass.
Look at how dead my ass is.
See it from the fucking moon.
There you go. I'm dead ass.
Oh,
Last
slang
week
is
you
fun.
started to talk about a thing and you said, remind me, there was some work event you had where a guy showed up in short shorts and his nuts hanging out or something.
Oh my gosh, you've given away the punchline, but I like it. No, it's fine. So,
I can cut that part out if we want to be creative.
no, it's totally fine.
All
So
right.
way back in the day, went on this corporate retreat thing. It's like a company offsite. And for whatever reason, the transportation to and from the day's activities, which happened to be on a lake, was a party bus, okay, complete with a stripper pole. Okay?
Wow.
But this is a daytime event. So we were going to the lake. So as one would expect, people had swim attire. That's neither here nor there. I was sitting down and there was like a refrigerator. And this guy that I used to work with was sitting on the refrigerator, just manspreading. And my head was to the back of him. And then all of the people across the aisle on the party bus, just their eyes are like in horror. Turn around. And this guy's nuts are dangling out of his swim shorts. And completely oblivious. And my question is, wouldn't you feel a breeze? I have so many questions, actually. Like, 1, why wasn't he wearing underwear? 2, why were the shorts so short? 3, why couldn't he feel it? And he was completely oblivious, and no one could tell him. And he was really, like, commanding the room. He was telling a big story. He was,
With
like,
his nuts.
wobbling around. And then everyone who looks over just these massive, freaking almost old man dingleberries just out. And I still think about that sometimes. And one, I feel sorry for him. But two, I wonder if I'll ever get over it.
Perhaps not. How many years has it been?
More than 10, more than 12.
Yeah, it sounds like you've been traumatized and it may never leave you.
Yeah.
Couple things to look at here. It's my understanding that those are not dingleberries. It's my understanding through growing up in definition that dingleberries are the little pieces of toilet paper that get stuck in your ass if you have bad toilet paper when you wipe. That's always been my definition.
Wow.
Maybe in Australia, do they call them dingleberries there? Maybe it could be a cultural, international thing.
It might be a cultural thing. I didn't know that having toilet paper hanging out your ass afterwards
well, not
was a
hanging
thing that
out, the
happened.
little pieces. If you get bad toilet paper, you get the little pieces that shard off in there.
I want to be able to join you.
I swear I'm not the
Alas.
only one. It happens.
I'm sure you're not.
Yeah.
I am quite unsure as to what you are referring to.
Look
and
at
for
you,
that,
Miss. I buy
apologize.
expensive toilet paper.
Maybe that. I don't know. I have had cheap toilet paper that's like so thin you can see through it, and you probably want to do 10 layers lest you finger your own butthole where you're trying to wipe. Or the stuff that's basically like grease-proof paper that just sort of spreads the shit around but doesn't like wipe it off. But I must admit, never have I encountered the dingleberries.
And just a word for people that come to us for the serious entertainment and the political commentary. We don't try to go down these roads to be shocky. I don't take things on a right turn to try to get into this stuff. They just kind of happen. But I had always heard growing up that that's what a dingleberry was. And someday we will find out. Someday somebody will let us know. And actually, I have this. Let's see. Hang on here.
I thought you were going to ask Siri. Oh, yep, there
Hey,
you
Siri, what's a dingleberry?
Here's an answer from dictionary.com and Wiktionary.
Oh, well, neither one of us are allegedly right. A dingleberry is a slang term for a small piece of poop clinging to the butt of a human or an animal. It can also be used derogatorily to refer to a stupid or foolish person.
Yeah, I've definitely used
Yeah. I remember that.
dingleberry for stupid or foolish person. Another Australian term is dingbat.
Dingbat is common. That's here too. That was very 70s. I think dingbat was more of a thing. I remember that from All in the Family. He would always call Edith a dingbat. And then the other issue with this dude and his nuts hanging out, it depends on the heat factor involved. If it was a cold day, you would for sure realize that there was a draft. If it was a hot Australian day, like many of you people have in my perception, then he might not notice.
What's the proper thing to do in that situation? I was much younger. Nowadays, I'd be like, oi, put your nuts away. I wouldn't, zero fucks given. But back then, I was so paralyzed, and everybody else had noticed it before me, and nobody said anything to him. So I felt like I couldn't say anything to him, and it was very awkward.
Is there any part of the conversation that you just left going because the fact that it was happening was so entertaining?
Right now, it's entertaining.
Yeah.
Hindsight is entertaining. At the time, it was horrifying, and I can't remember what anybody was talking about. It was like being Santa's little helper after I realized. Emily. Like, ha! Yeah, it was horrific. And I can't remember what was going on, but it's haunting.
I think probably the way to handle it would be for one of his friends to whisper in his ear, hey, mate, you're not hanging out. They would probably want to mention that. But the problem is, when you're in that situation, your friends are the ones that love the joke and don't want to tell you because they love the prospect that your nuts are out for everybody. So then it's kind of half dozen one, 6 to 5 of the other, whatever the hell that phrase is.
Well, also, it's a work event.
Oh,
so
work event.
no one's friends.
Yeah. Somebody from
work
HR,
together.
you probably needed to file a case with HR and write out an affidavit and then have that certified and then have that HR person have a discussion with him in a private room and probably deal with it that way.
I think somebody did make a complaint. It wasn't me. I felt so sorry for him. But yes, I think he did. Somebody leveled an HR complaint at him.
I can see that if somebody is being aggressive and doing that on purpose, if they just got a nut hanging, and I don't think the guy should get in trouble for that.
Yeah, I don't know if he should get in trouble for that. But here's a question.
Yeah.
Is it poor planning? Are you going to wear no underwear and shorty shorts to a work event in the same way that I wouldn't wear anything revealing or plunging or like a bikini or something where I could have a nip slip at a work event? Is it his fault because he didn't plan, like showing up late for something? You didn't plan properly. Is there any part of you that's like, this guy kind of wanted it to happen?
It is his fault. We don't know if it was egregious, because I remember I went to Universal Studios one time with friends who were in town, and I wore a pair of shorts that I didn't remember had a hole in the crotch, and we were going, and sometimes you sit on bleachers and that kind of thing when you're watching a show, and I realized, oh, these are the big hole pants, and I wear underwear, so it's not like I had nut hanging out, but one of my friends was getting really pissed, because as you relax, you forget, and you just kind of relate, and oh, geez, there's my covered nuts again, and that was my responsibility, but it wasn't egregious. Maybe that was his deal, because maybe he doesn't wear underwear. Maybe he goes commando. And by the way, why do commandos never wear underwear?
Wow. I know we call it going commando. Commandos wear underwear.
Why do we call it commando then?
I don't know.
We need to make an adjustment there in society.
We need to make an adjustment. Underwear should be mandatory.
Yeah, I guess.
And deodorant.
Yeah, deodorant for sure. That's a whole situation. People that don't wear deodorant, Jesus Christ. If you don't take a shower daily, no, you don't go out in public.
So, this is a cultural difference. There are cultures who do not wear deodorant for whatever reason. And during my time working in the Department of Human Remains, I have had to have conversations with people.
It's got to be tough.
It's very tough about how part of being ready to come to work and working with other people necessitates that one wears deodorant.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Now that I know you, now that we do the show, I'm constantly bombarded with Australian news. And the other day, this was this Australian news, and we can play this clip. I just want to say that I love your people, and if it weren't for the murder animals, the animals that try to kill you when you live around them everywhere you go, I think the fleas try to kill you there even, I would be happy to live in your country, and you are great people, except I do have to ask, what is wrong with your police work?
Oh, yeah, I love this.
Your police work is maybe not top notch. Damn it, she knows the story. I wish she didn't know the story. So I'll go with the intro here again. What is wrong with your police work?
A sex doll has been mistaken for human remains after it was found in an abandoned suitcase near Bushland in the Southern Highlands of New South Wales. Reporter Harry Frost has been following developments and joins us now from Canberra. Hi again, Harry. Now, police have provided an update. What more do we know?
Well, it was a sex doll.
They've told us what was in the suitcase was what they were calling a lifelike doll, which had clothing, hair, a nose piercing.
When you get your sex doll, do you want to get the one with the nose piercing? Does it make that much of a difference?
Me personally?
Yeah.
No, I'm sans nose piercing for all of my sex dolls.
Yeah, me too. I like them clean.
A doll which had clothing, hair, a nose piercing, and even had markings that resembled bruises and grazes. Now, earlier this morning...
Now, that's a weird thing. Apparently, you can order sex dolls and get them with, like, bruised flesh because maybe you're into that kind of thing. And if that's the case, maybe you're a sick fuck.
Is that a thing, or did it absorb dyes from being out in the weather? I don't know.
I don't know. He just said it appeared to have bruises, so...
Bruises and grazes. Now, earlier this morning, police gave a media conference in which they confirmed what had been in the suitcase hadn't been human remains, as initially believed, but they weren't able to confirm what was in the case, and they said the investigation was ongoing, and now police say that investigation has concluded.
So what led police initially to believe that they'd found human remains, Harry?
Yeah, so two people
it's
on
a
a
doll,
Sunday drive
and the doll
yesterday
looks like a
afternoon
human
reported
being.
finding-
That's what caused them to do that. It looks like a person, kind of, except for the grazes.
Well, the other thing too is to remember that it is very unusual for someone to be murdered and have a body dumped in Australia.
Huh.
Like you talk about the animals trying to kill people.
Yeah.
Like people don't kill people in Australia. The number one cause of death and stuff is domestic things. They don't have a gun problem. Whereas the murder rate per capita everywhere, human to human, is massive in the United States. It's less than 1 in 100,000. And so it's so small. Most police officers who work in Australia will go their entire career without ever having to investigate or participate in some kind of murder.
Wow.
Or having to draw their weapon or fire their service weapon.
That says a lot.
And so they have processes and stuff, and they're not going to, it's not like everyone's going to get in there like CSI. As soon as they have thought this might be a body, they would have called in a specialist unit and then stepped away. And no one wants to get in there and like open it up. And by the time that happens, people are already on the police scanners. They're already, the story already gets out before anyone's actually gone and unzipped this thing and gone, actually, this is a sex doll.
When your people do kill, do you get the impression that usually they try to hide the body, or do they just go, oh, I've killed?
Well, one part of me could say maybe people are really good at hiding bodies. Australia is a massive, sparsely populated country. Lots of people go missing and are never found. One could assume that those people have been murdered and just never found. So then I would say, yeah, body hidden. However, most of the reported murders that happen are domestic in nature or through a close relationship, and knives are used, and they, or, manual implements of some description, and the bodies are found because somebody calls 000.
And the ultra-conservative right-wing person would go, see, you're killing people with knives. We need to outlaw knives if we're going to outlaw guns.
I don't know if you've ever tried to stab somebody, Stu, but you get really tired in physical combat. And so if you want to kill someone, like with your bare hands, you've got to kind of be prepared to work for it. Whereas with guns, it's a lot easier. And so that's why I think it's a little bit different. You can't outlaw all knives, but you also can't have all knives in Australia. There are laws around the
More
types of
people
knives
get
you can
killed
have.
by cars than guns in our society, so we need to outlaw cars too. I always love those bullshit arguments that they come up with when they're saying that guns are great here in our world.
So in the United States, just some fast facts, the number one cause of death for male youths is actually gun violence. Yeah. It's not cars.
I've heard that argument over the years. It may have
Statistic has
changed. I just know that that's an argument. Oh, people have cars, people have knives. And it's always just, okay, you're in the pocket of the NRA. Shut the fuck up. You're making money from this, and that's why you don't want to be a real human being.
And ultimately, I have to agree, right, is that guns don't kill people, people kill people, right? I think I can happily agree with that. But one of the things that we know about people, and especially people in this country, is they are impulsive. People under the age of 27, their prefrontal cortex hasn't fully developed. Their impulsivity, their ability to make decisions, their ability to think beyond what is happening in this moment and the ultimate ramifications is diminished. Therefore, if they can kill somebody, just shoot people. It's like these kids, 11 and 12-year-olds, who shoot their parents because they wouldn't let them play their video game console or get them a new phone, not really thinking through what's going to happen. And so arguably those people literally aren't in their right minds to be able to handle a weapon. Whereas if they didn't have a weapon and they really wanted to throw down with their dad, then they'd have to go for Mortal Kombat physical combat. And I think that that's okay. Like, again, if you want to kill somebody, I think you should have to work for it. I don't think that you should be able to just pull out a gun and shoot them. But
guns don't kill people. People kill people. But it's much easier to kill someone with a gun. It's funny how that works out. Yeah.
Funny how that works out, right? And then there's the argument, well, the bad guys have guns, so the good guys need to have guns.
It's all just so logical.
Yeah.
So what led police initially to believe that they'd found human remains, Harry?
Yeah, so two people on a Sunday drive yesterday afternoon reported finding a suitcase containing a body near a road.
Suitcase, it might have been a ventriloquist doll.
In bushland, about 60 kilometres south of Goulburn, police forensics officers were at the scene. They cordoned the area off. They began their investigations, and police were initially telling us that they believed it was the remains of a human female. They'd even begun searching.
So there it is. They eventually found out it wasn't an actual human being, and that is the story.
That is the story. Right. It's interestingly, a lady was dumped in a suitcase right near where I live, right near my kid's school a couple of years ago. Yeah, horrible.
Huh.
But I think we've become desensitized to it. Another guy was shot just around the corner. It's a really bizarre thing to like watch the Australian news and realize how safe it is there. And people don't litter. That's the other thing too. You might be thinking, why did somebody call the police? Because there was a suitcase on the side of the road or in bushland. You don't litter.
Because so both of those things are so unusual that it put up a couple of flags.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's kind of funny. No one would do that here. Like, people don't even stop if somebody is injured here or their car's broken down or anything. It's a funny old world.
Well, this has been a delightful show. Oh, the first time ever that I had the pot down when I Christina'd. Hang on, let me do that again. It's been a delightful show.
Shut the hell away from me.
You got to keep the pot up when you're firing off the Christina. This has been Podcasting 101. You'd think I would know by now. God damn it.
Even experts make mistakes, Stu.
I don't know if I'm an expert. Don't know if I'm an expert yet. We'll see. It's been a fun show. Good talking to you.
Have a great day.
Everybody be vigilante, and next week we'll talk to you. Okay, bye.
Okay, you know how this goes. Like us, subscribe, tell your friends, write a nice review, engage with us. We're Total Babble on Instagram, on Facebook, on Threads, and on Blue Sky. Email is show@totalbabble.com. The Total Babble Podcast.